What is up, world? Welcome back, Charge the Game podcast. I'll be your host here, Chuck, and we are about to get into these ratings as they have dipped. And you already know they're going to dip because of what has happened as of late with Juju Watkins. But Caitlin Clark not being involved in women's college basketball has taken a huge hit. You guys see it here for yourself if you guys are following with your eyeballs and or listening with your ears. This article starts off NCAA women's tournament first round viewership dips in 2025 without Caitlin Clark driving ratings. You kind of already knew that this was going to happen. I mean, I want you guys to understand the power of fans. It's energy, okay? That's why most of these teams, whether it's any sport, home field advantage means the most. That's why when the fans show up, no matter how tired you are, when you hear the chanting and you hear that moral support, it's just energy. But also, it takes its toll, right? It takes its toll. And women sports were not the most popular, right? And you get a fan base like Caitlin Clark has, so much is poured into that. And once Caitlin Clark is gone, the fans are going to follow Caitlin Clark. And you don't expect, or at least I didn't expect, any sensation or any other woman in college basketball to have the impact that Caitlin Clark had, because she is a generational player, not just a talent, a generational player, meaning the whole it factor, the whole everything, right? People can't get enough of it. And now that that's been removed from college basketball, women's college basketball, well, this is why you have these sort of ratings. Now, guys, you see here where it says ESPN notes the viewership for the first round was up 43% from 2023, with an average of 275,000 people watched the first 2 days of competition, but it leaves out the record-breaking viewership from last year, which viewership averaged 469,000 in 2024 first round per ESPN, right? So notice how ESPN is trying to be tricky here. They're trying to tell you guys that this new way of capturing the ratings was up 43% in an average of 275, but they failed to admit openly, because they know Caitlin Clark is the reason, that when she was playing in 2024, guys, right? Caitlin Clark played in 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. Caitlin Clark was averaging around 469,000 viewers, give or take. That's roughly close to 500,000 in the first round of women's college basketball. Then it goes on to say that that number was boosted by a whopping 3.2 million people tuning into Clark and Iowa's 91-65 win over Holy Cross. The difference between this year and last year represents a nearly 22% drop in viewership for the first round. Now, let me ask you guys this. 22% may not seem like a lot to you guys, but I'm quite sure there are people out there who have investments, right? I'm quite sure there are people in there who have savings, right? I'm quite sure there are people who have real estate. Could you imagine a 22% dip in your rent? Your tenants get a 22% reduction off rent, and that's what they pay you. May not seem like a lot, right? Could you imagine if your stocks were, I don't know, roughly 50,000, and you wake up and there's a 22% drop off in your stocks or your bank? Folks, this is a big deal, okay? No matter how much they try to cover this up, it's a big deal. And you're going to see this slowly tailor off. You're going to see this keep happening, because not only is Caitlin Clark not a part of sports, you also have this NIL and transfer portal, which makes a lot of the competition lopsided, right? I mean, it's boring because it's an imbalance. And see here for yourself, guys, because, I mean, you can't make this up. It doesn't help that early rounds of March Madness tend to be more lopsided on the women's side, due in part to a lack of resources and development in mid-major programs. 6 teams, including UConn, USC, Tennessee, and Iowa, in 4 most watched games of the round, dropped 100+ points on their lower seeded opponents in the first round, which is why across college, I keep saying that this whole NIL transfer portal, it needs to have some type of regulations, man. I mean, seriously, because it's uninteresting. These kids are going to continue to get more and more money. They deserve that, but it's not going to be interesting if the competition isn't balanced. People don't want to go watch basically the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant play lower, lesser opponents every single game because you already know what the outcome is going to be. It doesn't matter how fancy Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson were shooting threes. Blowouts can be boring. Just like the Chiefs winning back-to-back was starting to get fatigued. But y'all know my Eagles went and handled all that, right? Go Birds. Anyway, and now we're going to touch bases on the next big thing that people were holding their breath and crossing their fingers on, and that was Miss Juju Watkins. And, of course, this was the #1 phenom across women college sports. And I got a lot of love for Paige Buckner, but I just feel like Juju Watkins was next up. To me, she did not really have like the whole razzle dazzle it factor. The girl can just ball, you know what I'm saying? So that was good enough. She was #1 in women's college basketball. And now that she's gone down, imagine what the second round ratings are going to be. I'm expecting a huge dip because people are on to the next thing. People are on to the next sport. People who were tuning in were supportive of Juju Watkins. And I think that now is done for. You know, she tore her ACL, so people are going to lose interest. So then I started to ask myself, well, damn, who would be next up, right? Now, this is the list of the top players in the NCAA, and I want you guys to just walk through this with me, will you? Okay, Juju Watkins was #1. She's out of there. Paige Buckner's. I actually like Paige Buckner's. I think that this young lady is a dog, and I do feel like she's going to make a lot of great impact at the next level. As we go down the list, you have Hannah Hidalgo, if I'm saying her name right. You have Kiki, I'm not going to even try to pronounce her last name, Madison Booker, the Texas Longhorns, Lauren Betts, Anissa Morrow, Flau'jae Johnson, Rory Harmon, Ayoka Lee, Georgia Amore, Audie Crooks. I actually like Audie Crooks. Olivia Miles, Sanaya Citron, Tanaya Latson. Okay? Those are the top 15 players, and this list goes on and on and on. But I just want to point something out here on this list. Now, starting from the bottom up, who on here is moving the needle in college sports right now? Who? Who is the next Caitlin Clark or Juju Watkins-esque besides Paige Buckner, in my opinion? Right? What I'm getting at is this isn't enough star power to drive any more of the ratings, guys. It is what it is. Without Caitlin Clark being in college sports, they already suffered from the get-go, and they had a Juju Watkins. Now that Juju Watkins is out of there, guys, who's going to be the next person to move the needle? Paige Buckner? I mean, that's my best guess. I mean, the girl got game. A lot of people tune into her games. I like Paige Buckner. I like her demeanor. I like her aura, and I like her playing. I like her skill set. And to keep the ratings from not completely tanking. But I'm willing to bet that they're going to tank. They simply don't have anyone else that's the it chick, the it girl, right? They just don't have that right now. Continuing, it says ESPN has yet to release the numbers for the second round of the women's tournament. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to hold on to that a little bit longer, right? It's unlikely to surpass the record 1.4 million viewership average set during the 2024 second round. 4.9 million tuned in to watch Clark and Iowa defeat West Virginia last year. So when the Fecia caller goes on to First Take, right, like she did yesterday, right, and she's saying that it's unfair that the New York Liberty are not getting as many national televised games as Caitlin Clark, I want you guys to remember these numbers. I want you guys to remember what Caitlin Clark has done at the collegiate level as well as the pro level. It's astronomical, okay? So the quicker that those women understand this, there shouldn't be any debate why the Indiana Fever has 41 national televised games, okay? It makes sense to me. I'm not the most smart guy. I mean, I'm an engineer, okay? So I had to take a whole bunch of math classes, and I'm still going to tell people to the day I die that I hate math, right? I just did it because I had to, right? But these numbers make plenty of sense to me, and numbers don't lie, is what I'm getting at. As the Sweet 16 approaches, the tournament will also be without one of its biggest stars, Juju Watkins. But matchups between a number of high-profile teams will still draw eyes as the tournament moves forward. Notice that they had to put this in here because this is something that I've been harping on. You guys don't have Caitlin Clark, and you lost the person that was supposed to be the next biggest thing to Caitlin Clark and at least in college sports. We're going to call this the Caitlin Clark curse. Who will be the person to break the 4.9 million viewership barrier? We may never know. We simply may never know. So I would love to hear from you. What do you think about the 22% drop off for women's college basketball? What do you think this means for the rest of the tournament that Juju Watkins is no longer playing? And are you guys even still interested? I don't know. Most people probably are checked out. But you guys let me know what y'all think. Drop those comments in the comment section. And if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. Goes a long way in the algorithm, and it sure does help your boy out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.